to the Nafisa Dango show. And this afternoon we were talking to Lydia Rue, and we seemed to be cut off. But she was talking about, the interdependence between mental and physical health. And this is where our next guest comes in. I think it's important for us to understand that there are different ways of dealing with the situations we're in, and there are alternate solutions that we can look at. And this is something that I find very important as far as our health is concerned, especially during this COVID-19 period. My guest is Aishah Manack. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's from AM Body Techniques. She's a biokineticist and sports massage therapist. She completed her degree in biokinetics at the University of Johannesburg. As a bio and sports massage therapist, Aishah takes pride in providing therapy to people in order to help them live quality, fruitful, and pain-free lives. Aishah has a zest for life, movement, and helping people. Being a biokineticist, she also allows herself to provide you with scientifically designed exercises to improve your posture and prevent further pain. So we're going to welcome her. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing this afternoon, Sister Aishah?
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. And Auntie Nafisa?
It's so nice to hear your voice and lovely to have you on the show this afternoon. And earlier on we had a guest and we were talking about the interdependence of mental and physical health. And I think people don't understand the importance of biokinetics and sports massage. And I think, firstly, just tell us a little bit about yourself before we even go into that.
So, as a student, I was actually a student last year and I just qualified. And to me, movement is so important. Even if it's just 10 minutes at a time, or like, for example, the American Association of Sports Medicine recommends each individual perform 50 minutes minimum of exercise daily. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes in one continuous bout. It can be present down to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, as long as you're getting that movement in. And I think it's very important because with the way we are moving as currently, for example, like students are sitting way more than they should in terms of doing Zoom online and stuff like that. I think it just clouds their judgment so much when they're sitting for so long periods of time, and thus it decreases concentration and mental alert. So moving and increasing circulation and blood flow, it brings so much more nutrients to the body, it brings so much more nutrients into your muscles. It enables joint range of motion and also pain-free.
Right. I think it's important people understand, what you do, because a lot of the times people don't understand also the difference between biokinetics and physiotherapy.
Yes, definitely. People do definitely get confused. The difference between biokinetics and physiotherapy is that in physiotherapy, they deal more with the initial phase of rehab. So with controlling inflammation, controlling swelling, controlling the pain, etc. But with biokinetics, we deal more in the second phase of the rehab process. So that would be providing your rehabilitative exercises, and once the pain levels have reduced. So it's on a scale of 1 to 10. If a patient comes in and they have knee pain, for example, and the knee pain is so severe, it's around 8 or 9, biokinetics won't treat those patients. They're referring either to the physio or the chiro. And once that pain level is reduced, so say maybe around 5 or 6.
And I think it's also about strengthening those muscles, and everything is customized depending, of course, on the person you're dealing with. That's how it works. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. So once we are able to move pain-free, that's when we see them. And we strengthen those muscles, we stretch those muscles, and we provide exercise in order to rehabilitate those particular conditions that the patients suffer from.
Okay. Yeah, no, and I think people needed to understand that because, as I said, they get a lot confused between the two. Let's talk about sports massage. I think this is so important, especially during a time like this. A lot of people are not as active as what they used to be due to the COVID-19 lockdown. There's not much that they're doing as what they used to before. So let's talk about the sports massage. I think it's very important that people know the benefits of it and of course, what it really means.
Yes, definitely. So basically, a sports massage is the systematic manipulation of soft tissues to help alleviate the stress and tension which goes up in the body during any form of physical activity, whether you're at home, work, any system. But it's not only when you are working or physically active that tension builds up in those muscles. It's even when you're just sitting and doing nothing, sitting behind the desk, sitting on the couch, that's when tension also builds up in those muscles. And I believe that a sports massage will really help alleviate that stress and tension within those muscles, bringing nutrients to those muscles, bringing circulation to those muscles, and just improving circulation, etc.
Aisha, I wanted to ask you a question. A lot of the times, I think what people are not realizing now, especially, is that how important the sports massage is because we're not paying attention to our bodies the way we were before, but also the types of anxiety levels and the mental strains that we're taking. We actually don't realize it affects our bodies as well.
Yes, definitely. And you just said when you're stressed and you're anxious, there's so much of tension that builds up, especially in your back, in your shoulders, the chest becomes tight, the pectoralis muscle sort of tensions up. When this happens, you sort of assume this posture, which is sort of hunched. And so there's so much of other problems. You get tension headaches, there's
Mm.
shoulders become tight, you're unable to move, you become restricted, and even simple things like reaching for things become difficult because of all of this tension.
That's true. Do you get different types of sports massage, or is it just one particular one?
So there are different types of sports massage. I'll go through the different types just to give the listeners a bit of an understanding.
Sure.
There are 5 types of sports massage, and the first 3 are restorative, and anyone can benefit from this type. And then the 2 are for your athletes, and that's with regards to their training and competition schedule.
Right.
So the first one is with regards to recovery, and this is used to enhance both physical and mental recovery from strenuous activities.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is to improve a debilitating condition. For example, tennis elbow, which is not only a condition that affects your sports athletes, it also affects people in their day-to-day life. So, for example, if you have a person that's sitting behind a desk and is doing a 9 to 5, using a keypad and a mouse, that set of just continuous repetition affects the muscle also. So even though it's not as strenuous as a tennis serve, but the impact still is the same.
Right.
And then the second is rehabilitative. So this is to facilitate healing after an injury has occurred. And then the fourth and fifth type of massage is maintenance, and this is to enhance recovery from strenuous exertion, as well as to help the athlete maintain optimal health. And then the fifth one is with regards to an event. So say this massage is broken down. The first is, and this is to help the athlete prepare or recover from specific events. And this is your pre-event, inter-event, and the pre-event is to help prepare them both physically and mentally for an event. Inter-event would be to help an athlete recover from an event while preparing for the next round. And then post-event is usually after an intense session of physical activity, and this encourages healing and muscle recovery.
Right. Yeah, this is the thing. A lot of the times people, when you refer to a sports massage, I think when you spoke about the first one, I think it's quite apt because I think literally most and all people can actually go for that. Where, like you're saying, if you're doing an office job and there's tension and you're also full of anxiety and stress, and your muscles start tightening up as such, that's when you can use it. Whereas the others are specified to athletes and having to help them overcome certain situations that their body is actually experiencing.
Yes, definitely. And I also believe that it's not only like how you say for your athletes, or it's for everybody. Literally anybody can benefit. Even patients with lower back pain, knee pain, anybody. Because what happens with the sports massage is it improves blood circulation, which then enhances your cell nutrition, and that leads faster recovery.
That's true. I think we don't actually realize every single day how much our body actually takes besides our mind. And I think we sometimes elude that fact and think to ourselves, oh, we're so mentally exhausted, but not
Yeah.
realizing that our body is equally as exhausted and it needs some attention. And this is the interdependence we were talking about earlier, which we think matters by bringing you on. So people can understand that they really necessarily need the sports massage to be able to cope, especially during this COVID-19 time. People are not as active, but it will help them in many directions to get rid of those stresses and tensions in the body. And I think a healthy mind and a healthy body go hand in hand.
Definitely, definitely.
Let's talk about the benefits associated with this. A lot of the times people don't actually understand, they ask the question, why should I go for it?
So, some benefits that a sports massage would really help with would be your like tension headache, constipation, insomnia, depression, coping with general stresses of everyday life. Also increases alertness and concentration.
Mm.
And then it can also help with muscular strength and strain, easing stiff muscles, strengthening the immune system, improving blood flow and circulation, increasing range of motion within your joints, promoting healthy muscles and connective tissue. And there's so much more. Like I could literally go on and on.
Mm. Yeah, there's tons of benefits, and as I can see, I think a lot of the times, like I was saying, you talk to somebody about massage therapy, and people say, "But why do I need it? I run every other day." But I think we've brought a lot of light to that, where people now understand why they need it and the importance of having it done. Um, are there any contradictions and situations where you say massage should not be applied? I mean, because a lot of people, some people have certain ailments that will it affect it in any way whatsoever, or is it open just to everybody?
So it generally is open to everybody, but there are few instances where massage should not be applied. So that's obviously around burns, infections, or fractures, wounds, underarm tumors as well, and then varicose veins. So that's when your blood clots and the veins become damaged.
Mm.
And then around skin rashes, and especially athletes, patients that have diabetes and nervous system disorders. So because of the deep pressure that's being applied during massage, and if you have a nervous system or diabetes, it affects the way people can
Mm.
the pressure, they won't be able to feel that pressure that you are applying and won't be able to tell you, okay, you know what, this pressure is really a lot.
With
And this could cause more damage. Sorry.
Yeah, would this work for people that have blood clots? Sometimes what happens is they find they have a clot somewhere in their body, maybe on the leg or wherever. Would you suggest them having a sports massage then?
No, definitely. That's like a complete contraindication. So with using thrombosis or your clot that form, applying a massage to that area could dislodge the clot and it could towards the heart or lung and something. So that's no, no, no.
A definite no, but everything else is a yes. And I think I love that idea because the thing is, I think everybody needs a sports massage. It sounds really good, and it sounds very positive for the body and of course for the mind, because as we were saying, they're so interlinked. Where can people find you? Because I think this is something that I would request lots of my listeners to actually pay attention to and go and get it done and sorted. Because as I was saying, this is one of the ways of helping and supporting people. Through overcoming the total anxiety levels that they're experiencing at this point.
So I'm based in Mayfair, and I do house schools, but in and around Mayfair West, across the Auckland, South Melbourne.
Mm. Aishah, you're still on the line?
I'm still here.
Sorry, the signal seems to be a little bit bad, but I know you were saying there are over 600 muscles in the human body responsible for all types of movement, and they all need to be given attention to stay healthy and strong. So let's just give our listeners, I'm going to read it out if you don't mind. In order to book your sports massage, you can contact AM Body Techniques on 081 826 5522. Let me repeat that number. It's 081 826 5522. Or, of course, you can drop them a mail on Aishah, spelled AISHAH, .Manack, MANACK, @gmail.com. And I'm sure people are definitely going to get involved with getting themselves moved into a healthier space. It's amazing to see that it says 600 muscles in the human body. I think we take a lot for granted and don't realize what our bodies are made of and what sort of amanas we have to look after it.
Yes, definitely. And just one more thing I'd like to mention is people don't realize that isn't the pain that's causing the incorrect postures and movement, or is it the incorrect movement patterns that's causing them pain?
Wow, that's not something that everybody understands.
Yes.
And as you were saying, people that have desk jobs, posture is very important because they're sitting in that particular position most of the day, we should say. And I don't think they realize the impact of that on the body. A lot of the times people think that, if you're just on your feet and you're on the go, that's what's going to affect you. But not realizing that if you're also just sitting in a particular spot in front of a desk, that, certain muscles that you're using, for example, your arms and your shoulders and things like that, are actually working all the time.
Exactly. And you don't realize the amount of tension those muscles are placed under, even though it might be physically in a relaxed position because they are sitting, but they do undergo some sort of tension.
You're right there. Tell me, what message would you like to leave our viewers and listeners with this afternoon?
Move, move, move. And what I was going to say is, if you have a problem, get it sorted out before it becomes worse. If you have a small wiggle or a pain in your shoulder, in your knee, in your hip, whatever's troubling, get it sorted out before it becomes worse. Because when it becomes worse, there's other problems that start following that. It's like a constellation effect that happens.
That's true. It's like a domino effect. One thing leads to something else. And if you don't take care of it now, then you're going to be sitting with bigger issues later on. So rather deal with it now.
Yes.
We want to thank you so much for joining us. We want you to, of course, just leave us with one important message before you go. Talk to us about the importance of biokinetics. I really want people to know that because, as I was saying, a lot of people don't even know biokinetics exist.
So to me, biokinetics, I'm very passionate about biokinetics because it gives patients and people the opportunity to move in a correct form. So you may be doing something, but what you're doing may not be correct. The form you're doing it in, the postures that you're doing while doing it, these will affect the way you may see it afterwards. So you think just going for a run is so good for you, but before running, it's very important to stretch. Even after running, it's so important to stretch because that would reduce the amount of pain you feel. It would reduce the tension within your muscles. And also what the biokinetics do is do postural assessments to check muscle strength, to measure muscle for muscle imbalances, and it's something with like if there's an imbalance in your body from your feet right on your breast to your head, whatever is imbalanced is obviously going to cause a problem. So if you have
Mm-mm. Aisha, you still on the line?
calcium here, can you hear me?
Yeah, so we want to actually thank you for joining us this afternoon, and I think you've shed a lot of light on the the issues that people face, not realizing what sort of impacts it has on their health as such. And I'm hoping that a lot of them get in touch with you. And again, get going into a better space as far as their health is concerned. So, we want to thank you for joining us this afternoon, taking the time out to be able to actually shed some light on something that I think is important, and of course making us understand the importance of biokinetics as well, and why it is necessary for people to actually go for biokinetics as such. So thank you so much for joining us.
That's not so much for having me on the show as well.
The pleasure is ours, and we wish you nothing but the best going forward, inshallah, and do stay safe.
I mean, that's what I say.
The pleasure was ours. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was Sister Aishah Manack giving us the whole breakdown of biokinetics and sports massage. And I think the importance of looking after our bodies, especially during this particular difficult lockdown, where our bodies and minds are taking a lot at this moment. And she's there definitely to give us the support structure as far as that health issue is concerned. We're going to go for a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be back with you, where we're going to be having an interactive session with the team.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the